Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Today I wanted to do a tabletop review on this cooking kit I picked up from Rob at the Canteen Shop. It basically consists of a heavy cover lid, the GI Canteen Cup, and the grill top stove stand. I've been using this set for about a year and a half, and I have since transitioned to two new systems. One for my bug out bag, which is made of titanium, a much lighter product. And I also purchased another one for my EDC kit, which is also very compact and light, and I'll review these at a later time. But I wanted to talk to you about this kit and what some of the pros and cons are to it, and I'm also going to cover some other technical specs. So let's do that first, get that out of the way. For those of you that are looking to pack away a stove or something like that, at least you know what you're dealing with. It is a stainless steel construction. The height on it is 4.5 inches. It has a width of 5.5 and a depth of 3.5. Now, as configured, this kit here, it does have some components in it. So as configured, it's 1 pound 10 ounces, 26 ounces, or 740 grams. A bit heavy in my opinion. Some of you may disagree. If you look at just the lid, the canteen, and the stove, the stove stand grill, it's 1 pound 2 ounces, 18 ounces, or 527 grams. So if you strip it down, it is a little bit lighter. And a la carte, the individual items, the heavy cover lid is 4.8 ounces, the canteen is 8.1, and the grill top stove stand is 5.6. So those are some of the dimensions and the weights on it. The way I have this thing packed away is with two elastic bands going around the top to keep the lid on, and another one to hold the handles together. Now you could also just go with one band if you put the wings, or excuse me, the handles inside the stove stand itself, so you can get away with just using one piece of shock cord. However, the dimensions will change. It'll actually be taller if you go this route. If you go this route, you'll need two pieces of shock cord, but you can actually shrink down the dimensions by having the handles on the outside and then another piece of shock cord to hold your handle on. So you could adjust it slightly to make it a little more packable. It's just something to keep in mind. Now, I generally use this kit to prepare hot drinks on the trail, cider, tea, coffee, hot chocolate, things like that. I don't cook in it much, maybe some soup or things like that. But it works rather well. I haven't had any issues with it. And why don't we break it down? Now what I have inside is rather predictable, the items, but this is the lid itself. As you can see, it's highly polished. It does have drain holes, which is nice if you want to strain out your noodles or some rice or something like that. Nice heavy duty handle on top, and you could actually fry in this thing. It's that robust. You could put an egg in there, a piece of meat, something like that, and you could actually use it to signal with as well if you had to. Now I keep some fuel tabs in here, and I'll talk in a minute how these work and how I use them. I also keep a Trangia burner in here. This is just a lid to control the flame and to snuff it out. And inside that I keep two tea lights, and I will talk to you about how I use them and how Rob uses them with an idea he came up with. So I'll set these two aside for now. And the way this works is simply with denatured alcohol or heat. Has a nice gasket and O-ring, so you could store fuel in there. That's a nice feature. This is the canteen itself. Holds about 20 ounces. This is a really clean one. The one I have in my truck is pretty beat up. It has a lot of soot on it, so I wanted to display the nicer one that I had. And you just simply lock the handles together, and this is ready to go. And this here is the hardy and robust heavy-duty grill top stand. You could grill on it. It's a very small surface, but you could put a small piece of meat on there. You could use it to dig. Yeah, it's that heavy duty where you could actually dig into the ground with this. You could also strain with it. wash off some vegetables, some wild edibles or something like that. And the way this works is basically you take your burner, put your burner at the bottom, put your grill stand right there, canteen on top, add your liquids of course, and your lid, and you're off cooking. Very basic, very easy to use. Now the way I use these little tea lights is if I'm preparing camp or getting the shelter ready and I want to keep my meal nice and hot, I'll light one of these and just place it directly underneath here, and it will keep my meal warm if I have something in there, or perhaps a beverage or something like that. However, Rob came up with this idea where he has a makeshift lantern by using the stand and the lid, and this is what he came up with. And if you look closely, you could see the tea lights in there. Here's a better shot of it. You can see the tea lights in there, and this is a nice little device if you wanted to illuminate your camp. Put a carabiner on it, hang it from a tree branch, and you could have some additional light camp. Now I wouldn't bring this into a tent, but for around camp it would work just fine. On a con, this lid gets very hot, and if you touch it, it's going to remove your fingerprints. So that's one of the things about it. It does get really hot, but the lid stays on. It's not going to come off. And the way it works is basically you would take this the stand itself, and you would insert the lid in here and then put your candles in. It does take a little bit of work, but once it's on, it's not going to come off. Now, I did mention previously about these little tablets, and you can use them. They work. You just need a rock or some sort of a platform to elevate them a little bit. Put them in there. They burn for about 12 minutes or so. They work rather well, and I've used them, and it's just one more option, another fuel to have with you. Now of course you could use wood. Put some branches in here. You could have a small controlled fire, and it works really well with wood. And if you're cooking a piece of meat on here, I wouldn't use alcohol or the tablets. I prefer to use wood. This is my preferred fuel. Heat. You can use denatured alcohol. I find that this is more consistent. It tends to burn a little bit hotter, but what I really like about it is no soot, so it doesn't blacken your pots, and it's been rather well over the years I've been using it. Now this is the bottle I've been using. I used this bottle last year, and I actually like it better because it has this nice little knob to dispense the fuel into the burner, and it has these graduations in the back so you could actually see how much fuel you're consuming. However, it does leak. It doesn't leak a lot, but it leaks enough where I don't want it in my pack. So I've retired this one. I've transitioned to this Nalgene 8-ounce bottle, and this one doesn't leak. So this is the one that I'm currently using now. I have 3 of these sets. I actually have them in all my cars. So let's get into how much these kids cost. And the grill top stove stand is $20. The Canteen Cup is $16, or you can get them used for $8. The heavy duty cover lid is $21, and the Trangia burners $15, for a total of $72. So for $72 you could have a nice little robust kit. Now I will tell you that Rob has come out with a new system. It's a little bit bigger, and it does offer some additional features. It's $89.95, but it doesn't include the heavy lid. It's a 39-ounce wide mouth stainless steel canteen with a 25-ounce stainless steel cup. Now what I like about the new one is it does have graduations, so it's nice if you're trying to measure out water. The stove stand is taller and lighter, so that's another nice thing about it, and it does come with a custom carrying case. So if you wanted to add the heavy cover lid for $21, you would add the $21 to the $89.95, and you would get a grand total of $110.95. Now you could also add the Trangia burner and the heavy cover lid, and that would give you a grand total of $125.95, and this would get you to free shipping, because you would break the threshold of $125, so you could actually get free shipping if you went down the route. Now, you could also add the heavy cover lid and the Vargo titanium Triad XE burner, which is $29, and that's going to bump up the price to $139. But what's nice about that little titanium burner is that you can actually use it for tablets, and you could use it for your fuel as well. So that's nice. On a con, it will not store liquid fuel because it doesn't have a gasket. So that is a little bit of a con on it. So in summary, this kit will work with alcohol. It'll work with fuel tablets. It'll work with wood, of course. It'll work with a Trangia burner. It'll also work with the Esbit. There's no difference really. It'll perform just as well with an Esbit. It'll also work with a Vargo titanium stove. You can boil with it. You can fry in the lid. You can grill on here. You can dig with this. You can rinse wild edibles with it. The stove lid doubles as a makeshift lantern, as I previously mentioned. This is the idea Rob came up with. If you needed some additional lighting around camp, that works rather well. Now on the downside, it is a bit heavy, and it doesn't boil water in 3 minutes. So if you're in a rush, this would not be the system for that. Generally, you're going to boil water in about 6 to 8 minutes. 6 to 8 minutes is about average with this, depending on the environmental conditions. But in short, one other con I didn't mention. These little feet are a little bit sharp and abrasive, and they do create a little bit of a rub in your pack. So that's another little con that I have noticed, and I wanted to bring that up as well. But in short, this kit is built to last. It's dependable. It's solid. And really what I like about it, it's caveman simple. So that concludes my tabletop review. I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.